Namaskar and welcome to the session on food basics. This is the first unit of the program and the objective is to refresh and strengthen your basics so that you can navigate your further journey very successful. The objectives of this session is to give you an overview of food chain, food safety terms which are normally used. What are the food constituents? What are its function? And what are the sources of nutrients are there? What are the consumption trends and what are the key points of the food processing policy in reference to our country? So this will give you an overview related to food, its constituents, its nutrients, and particularly food processing policy in relation to our country is there. So we'll start. What is the importance of food? As probably we all know, it is one of the basic necessity for sustenance, growth, and tissue repair. That is like what we are. It should sustain us, it should grow us, and it should, if any tissue or repair is required, so that is taken. But then question comes, what is food? Any material like a raw or processed which gives us three things: nourishment, sustenance, and enjoyment. And when this food is taken in terms of nutrients, we call it as a diet is there. The food basket from when we are born, from the mother's milk, it is becoming more wide and diverse. Today we have you have a range of indigenous like samosas or pizzas. So the basket is becoming very wide and diverse is there. When we say the food is basic necessity, but we can see also the paradox of malnutrition in rural areas and obesity in the urban areas. So food is, we are what we eat. So as a food scientist, as a food safety professional, we should be very careful because the food can be a source of nourishment, enjoyment, but can also lead to the obesity if we overuse some of the processed or not balanced foods are there. Right. Next, it comes, what are the associated terms? First is the food safety. It is a protection of food from microbial, chemical, and physical hazards. It's a journey from farm to fork. That is, hazard means where the food can get spoiled. So those hazards, physical, chemical, and biological hazards are to be minimized, are to be avoided, it is to be protected. And it will be type of a assurance that food is safe for the human consumption. So this is the first term, food safety. Related to term is food security is there. It is a mode of assurance to the people having physical and economical access to the food. Probably during our pandemic time, we saw this also, the food security, and when the government gave the food to the people is there. So this is the food security is there. And our public distribution system is one of the system for the food security is there. Then the term which is commonly used and which you should know also is the food system. It is sum of actors and interactions along the food chain from the production to consumption and beyond. When I say beyond, mean how to control the food wastage and these things. Another term is food science. It is a study of food components, their behavior under different environmental conditions, and progress from farm to fork is there. And in this, we use physical, biological engineering to understand food, causes of deterioration, and principles of food processing are covered. Then what is food technology? Application of food science particularly in industry perspective, that is production, processing, packaging, marketing, quality for safe, nutritious, and wholesome food comes under the food technology is there. Then what are the food sources? When we discuss the common terminology, then we come to the food, that what are the sources. There are three sources: plant, animals, and microbiological. Mainly it is plant and animals are there. Plants gives us grains and cereals, like rice is a staple food. Legumes, pulses are there. Fruits and vegetable, herbs and spices. We also have the like tea, coffee, drinks are there. Then and among the animals, we have milk and milk products, meat and poultry and fish is there. Macrobiological is like an edible fungi is there, mushroom is there, and then the blue-green algae is there. Example is when we make the idli, so we use a type of yeast is there. So the mushroom is also type of macrobiological example. So these are the food sources are there. Then we come, what is the food chain? Food chain is the feeding relationship between species in an ecological community. And common, in a very crude form, it is shown that if you have a grass and it is taken by cow, then the human take the milk. So this is a type of a transfer of material and energy from one species to another within an ecosystem is there. Now remember, these food chains are also responsible for foodborne diseases. Transfer of one disease agent or toxins is there. So one of the reasons for the food chain, the COVID was there, that it was responsible for the from one animal to the other, and this way it had spread. So farm to fork is of public health significance with regard to food safety is there. Now see the food chain in an industrial perspective. The food is produced, then it comes to the manufacturing unit where it is processed, then it is stored, it is transported, then it is available at the retail, and then at home we consume it. So this is a food chain or food supply chain, we say, from production to consumer, from the farm to fork is there. What is food groups and food safety? Food groups mean when the foods which share the common characteristics are there. Like in our meal planning, we have the 5 food groups. First group is cereal, grains and products. Second is pulses and legumes. Third is milk and milk products. Fourth is fruits and vegetables. Then fat and sugar. Now our National Institute of Nutrition under ICMR has restructured it to the 10 food groups under the new guidelines, dietary guidelines is there. So earlier I had explained you the definition of food safety, that there should be no hazard, physical, chemical. Now I'm with the help of the food chain. So I explain again, assurance that food is acceptable for human consumption according to its intended use. There should be no contaminants and should be ensured that the conditions and the steps in food chain does not represent an appreciable risk to health. So as a food safety personnel or officer, we should take care that in a complete food chain, there is no chances of contamination or hygiene drop should not take place. This is the principles of 5 safe food which you must remember. And this is applicable at the home level or at the industrial level. First is the keep clean, separate raw and cooked food. Even you're at home fridge also, you should keep separate raw and cooked food. And always cook the food thoroughly. Next is keep food at safe temperature. And last is use safe water and raw material. If you follow the 5 keys in complete chain everywhere, you will be very successful as a food safety professional is there. Now, as I mentioned in the food systems overview, it's just see how this actors and interaction take place. The first is see the environment. If the air quality, soil quality, water quality, biological diversity, and there's no ecosystem stability, or there's a lot of wastages there, pollutants are there, our agriculture production system will be affected along with this. So where we have the natural resource base, agriculture inputs, then farms, and what are the influences like market, government support, corporations, culture. Then processing, distribution and marketing is the second segment is there. And the last one is the human health and well-being is there. So this is the food systems and overview, and there's different components are shown, which is self-explanatory is there. Next is we'll take the review that in this first 10 to 12 slides, what we have read. We have read about what is food chain, food safety, food science, food sources and food system. So kindly review these terms and write yourself in a notebook and check your progress. Next is the food constituents. Now, the food contains moisture, carbohydrates, protein, lipids, vitamin, minerals. Phytochemicals are the active derivatives from leaves, stems, root, flowers and fruits. So primarily it is applicable for fruits and vegetables is there. Now we'll see what is the role of these constituents. So we'll see the role in terms of in the human body and for the food processing perspective. So first is the water. Water is normally ranging from 90 to 10% in all the food products. Like fruits and vegetables contain around 90 to 99%, milk contain 85%, and cereal contain 10 to 14%. So you can see the range of the water is there. That's why fruits and vegetables look more fresh is there, and cereals, they don't get spoiled also. Now water exists as a free and bound water. When we say free and bound water mean it is not chemical bound to food components, and it's readily available for microbial growth and chemical reaction is there. So if the free water is more, it will be easily spoilable is there. So what is its importance in the food processing is it will give you the texture and mouthfeel. Right type of texture, like chips will we take. If the moisture is more, it will look like a soggy. But if you have any food where the moisture is less, it will be very hard to be there. And it plays important role in preservation, processing, like when you're making a powder, so how much water you should keep it. Then it also acts as a cooking media also for the food. When you boil the rice, so it acts as a cooking media. Shelf life depends upon the amount of water there. Now, what is the role in the human health? About 60% of human body weight consists of the water. And all our vital physiological process is because of the water only. And we should always stay hydrated, and minimum 2 liters of water per day we must drink. So these are the new guidelines, dietary guidelines, which have been explained. Next constituent is carbohydrate. And the sources of carbohydrates could be plant, animals and microbiology, but primarily it is plant for our human beings is there. Now what is the carbohydrate? It is an organic compound having carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, and this is the polyhydroxyaldehydes are ketone. This is the formula written where 6x H2OY they are to be whole number. So you will get the carbohydrate formula. Now they are the primary source of human energy. 4 kilocalories per gram we get the energy from carbohydrate because their quantity is more. That's why we say it is a primary source of human energy is there. Now what type of carbohydrates are there? Monosaccharides, which are having like pentose, hexose, fructose is there. Disaccharides mean which are having 2 monosaccharides. Examples are sucrose and lactose. Oligosaccharides, where the monosaccharides are in the range of 3 to 10 raffinose are there. Then polysaccharide with having more monosaccharides, example is starch and cellulose. See how the composition of carbohydrate in some of the common foods. Now wheat contains 71% of the carbohydrate, but the glucose, fructose, sucrose is less. Similarly, rice contains 79%. And potato, which is taken in every food, it contains 20% starch in there. Now you see some of the Fruits, grapes, because it contains more glucose, fructose, sucrose, it is sweet is there. Similarly, apple, 1.17 glucose, fructose is 6%, sucrose is 3.78% is there. But grapes are more sweeter as compared to, so you can see 5 glucose, 5 fructose is there. And the groundnut has around 15% starch is there. Now, next is that this is to show you the composition of monosaccharides. First is that triose is there, first carb. Second one is tetrose, then pentose is there, and hexose, and this is the alpha D glucose formula is there. So these are the monosaccharide, and when we join together, we get disaccharides, trisaccharide, and monosaccharide. Next group is important group is proteins. What are proteins? They are the polymers of polypeptides of amino acids are there. So what are the amino acids? Which contains amino group NH2 and acidic group COH. So when you take 2 amino acids, so you can see there is a formation of a peptide bond because water is removed is there. So this is the formation of protein is there. So when we have too many amino acids, they combine together to give a condensed product where the water is eliminated, and that is known as the peptide, or amide linkage is called the peptide bond. So a bigger view has been shown here that 2 amino acids are there, water is being taken out, and when we get the peptide bond or amide linkage is obtained. So we say that the protein is a polymers of amino acids when together joined by the peptide bonds. There are 20 standard amino acids are there. Non-essential can be made by the body itself, and 10 essential amino acids are to be obtained from the diet is there. So the quality of some of the proteins depend upon how many amino acids are being given by the 10 essential amino acids. Like milk gives good number of amino acids, so the milk quality is good protein. So now to conclude about the proteins, they are the organic nitrogen compound of high molecular weight, and they are synthesized in plant by the ribosomes, and the dietary protein is supplied from the plant and animal source, and the main purpose is growth, maintenance, and repair of tissues is there. Now what is in food processing, they give the texture and structure. Like you take the paneer, so it is protein which you enjoy the texture and structure. Emulsification helps in water binding properties, flavor and nutritional quality. So these are the roles are there. Basically, for human body, it's the growth, maintenance, and repair of tissues is there. And in the food processing, it gives the texture and structure to the food product is there, and nutritional quality in it is there. Then we come to the next group, that is a lipid is there. Lipid, when we say, it is a broad group of compounds which are soluble in organic solvent. As such, lipid has got a lot of bad name, but it is an important structural component of all living cells is there. And its name is a repeating unit called fatty acids. Like what we saw in the proteins, amino acids, lipid is comprises of fatty acids. So you can see the structure of CH3, CH2. So N is the number, COH is there. Now these lipids includes what we call the glycerol esters of fatty acid, and traditionally we call it as a fat and oil also. So they comprise lipid as a fatty acids, triglyceride, mainly it is triglyceride, glycerol plus fatty acid, phospholipids, then cholesterol. So they provide the maximum energy, 9 kilocalories per gram. So carbohydrate provide 4, protein also around 4, but the lipids provide 9 kilocalories per gram. And they are the source of fat-soluble vitamins and essential fatty acids which are required to our body is there. So what are the sources for the lipids? The ghee, it contains 99.5%. You take any oil, so it is around 100% is there. In butter, it is 85%. Almonds, 55%. Groundnut, 40%. Rice has only 0.5%. Apple, less than 1%. And skim milk, less than 0.1 to 0.5%. So these are the source. So when you need energy, you can take more of the lipid, but if you want to reduce, take the substances which have the less lipid. So why it is essential for human health? There are fatty acids which are essential fatty acids because our body cannot synthesize, so we have to take it from the diet. Omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids. Then, as I mentioned, lipid is essential for brain function also and for the overall health. And when we take the food, the fullness, what we get, satisfaction, it is because of the lipids only, right? Then insulation to our body is also given by the lipids. Then what is the purpose in the food processing? The flavor and palatability. If you take a product with the full of lipid, fat and oil, it will be more palatable, more flavor will be there. You will feel the texture, mouthfeel. It also acts as a heat transfer, like when you fry the tikki or fry the chips also. So it acts as a cooking media also. And it is also used in emulsification, leavening. One of the health concerns is the health concern, but it is also source of oxidation and density. Whenever something the old is there and fat is there, so you will get the oxidation or rancid flavor will be there. So these are the plus and minus of the lipids. Now we come to the vitamins. Vitamins, which first will take the fat soluble. They are the organic compounds. This is general for all the vitamins, normally required for metabolism and growth and development of the cell functions is there, regulation of cell functions. Like when we explain that the protein gives you 4 kilocalories or fat gives you 9 kilocalories, but these vitamins help in liberation of energy. They also play an important role in that is there. Now fat soluble vitamins, you may be recalling in your basic science. Vitamin A is there for vision, vitamin D is for the bone formation and absorption of calcium and phosphorus. Vitamin E is for the reproduction and it also acts as an antioxidant in tissues. Vitamin K helps in blood clotting and the general health purpose is there. Similarly, the water soluble vitamin C, all, immunity is there, metabolism of amino acids, fat, so plays an important role, collagen formation is there. Similarly, vitamin B complex, very important. Thiamine B1 is the coenzyme in energy metabolism, nerve function is there. Riboflavin B2 is coenzyme in many enzyme systems is there. Niacin, it is a coenzyme for cell respiration, release of energy from fat, carbohydrate and proteins. B6 is essential for growth of infants are there. Similarly, B12 for the normal function of bone marrow and the nervous system is there. And that's why it has been said for the particularly vegetarian people, they should supplement their role for the B12 properly. Then B5 is there. So there the main role is in the processing is fortification, preservation and give color and flavor also are their role play. Then we come to the next group is the minerals. So they are in the low in concentration and these are the elements other than the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen is there. The human health aspects gives you the bone and teeth formation like calcium and phosphorus, electrolyte balance, sodium and potassium, oxygen transportation, iron plays a role, enzyme activation, magnesium and zinc, for the nerve function, calcium, potassium. And these are also divided into two parts, macro minerals and the micro minerals. Macro includes like calcium, phosphorus, potassium, sodium, chloride and magnesium are there. Similarly, we come to the micro minerals like chromium, iodine, like the purpose of goiter can take place is there if the absence of iodine. Cobalt is there, silicon is there, zinc is also there for many of these functions. So food processing role is fortification of these minerals is also required. And then the preservation and texture enhancement also, these plays the roles is there. Then we come to the phytochemicals. The phytochemicals, they are, as I mentioned, mainly from the fruit sources there. They have antioxidant properties, that is the protect the cell from oxidative damage is there. They have anti-inflammatory effects, that they reduce the inflammation and support the immune system. Like in turmeric, curcumin is there. Cancer prevention properties like a sulforaphane in some like vegetables like cabbage is there. They also provide natural color, flavor. Example of allicin in garlic is there, capsicum in chili peppers. So these are the role of the phytochemicals, and their importance is increasing with the increase in the demand for the functional foods. Then we come to the review. Let us review it. So what we have studied up till now, the second part is we studied in the second part important food constituents like carbohydrate, protein, lipids, vitamins, minerals, and water is there. Now we come to the food and its function. Food performs basically three functions. Physiological function like muscle building, energy production, and control function is also there. Then psychological function, that is giving the satisfaction. Our psychological satisfaction is there. Then social function, we enjoy sharing the meal, like when you have some birthday, so you celebrate the birthday, you connect with the people, acceptance and friendship also increases on marriage function, birthday function. So these are the social interactions, culture, traditions are there. Similarly, then psychologically, if you like samosa, so you will feel very happy. Similarly, but if your mother is scolding you, she will withdraw your favorite food, so you are under distress is there. So let us see slightly in detail what are these. So in physiological function is very important. First is energy giving, body building, and then regulation of body processes and body protection is the function of the physiological function is there. So like I mentioned, energy giving function is basically involves all the physical activities and involuntary processes. Like when we run, so these are the things are there. Involuntary activities like in our body, blood circulation, respiration, so we need the energy. For bodybuilding, the protein plays important role, like growth, formation of new cells. So these are the aspects are there. And for the body regulation of body process and production function, it's the enzymes, vitamin, minerals. These plays an important role into the things. Then what are the various sources of nutrients are there? They are carbohydrates. It includes fiber also, protein-rich food, fat-rich food, vitamins and mineral-rich food is there. So carbohydrate-rich food, what is their main purpose is to produce energy. And they are broken down into the simple form, glucose is there, and it is stored in liver and muscles as glycogen is there. In plant, whatever the extra carbohydrate is there, it is stored as a starch is there. And the energy in body is required basically for external activities such as work, sport, or for the internal activities like you mentioned, digestion and the breathing or blood circulation. So these are required is there. Then dietary fiber is becoming very important in nutrition because it provides the bulk, lubrication and nutrition for the friendly bacteria in the colon is there. It combines with the water, swells up and provides the bulk to the digestive system is there. Because of this only, the movement of the food is fast through the digestive system and retention of the waste is for the less time in the body is there. So these are certain foods like papaya, carrot, which are good for the digestive systems are there. The protein-rich foods they are mainly used by the body for the growth, development and repairs is there. And they produce enzymes also and produce hormones also for the purpose is there. And they build the structures like muscles, tissue. These are produced by the protein-rich food. Then we come to fat and oils, as we mentioned, that they are required for building the cell structure, nerves and brain. The brain has around 40% fat is there. And fat is required to insulate the body, produce the sex hormones, produce cholesterol, which is essential for cell membrane and bile salt. Similarly, they absorb the certain vitamins A, D, E, and K. And the sources are butter, ghee, animal fat, and vegetable oils. These are the sources. Then we come to the next vitamins and minerals. So they are basically for metabolic processes and immune functions are there. And that's why we call them as a part of a protective foods in fruits and vegetables. So minerals are important for bone health, fluid balance, oxygen transport, and nerve functions are there. Primarily, they come from fruits and vegetables, milk, egg, and fish is there. And deficiency or excess of this group can cause the illnesses there. So that's why we say fruit and vegetables are the best source for vitamin and minerals, and they are called the protective foods. Now, so we'll just take a quick review. So we have covered the food functions. What are the carbohydrate-rich food, fat-rich food, protein-rich food, and vitamin and mineral-rich food is there. Next, we come to the what are the cuisines. Cuisines are a specific set of cooking tradition and practices, and these are called the cuisine. In our country, we have a North Indian cuisines, which covers like Punjabi cuisine, Kashmiri, Banarsi, Sindhi. And South Indian, we have a Udupi, Kerala, Andhra. These are the Karnataka, Tamil cuisine. West Indies, Maharashtrian, Malvin, Goan, Rajasthani, Gujarati. And East Indian is Bengalis cuisine, Assamese cuisine, Bihari cuisine, traditional cuisines of Jharkhand, Oriya, Anglo-Indian. So these are the different types of cuisine. Now we come to the particularly industrial trend. So what are the consumption trend? Now the consumption trend is continuously evolving, and it is influenced by the what is the economic growth, technological advancements, particularly e-commerce, digitalization, globalization, and changing consumer preference. The trend is towards the convenient foods and ready-to-eat meals because of the urbanizations. Then the health and wellness food, organic, minimal processed foods after the COVID. Functional foods are increasing, as I mentioned. Fortified food, probiotics like yogurt, dahi. So these are the type of products are increasing. And particularly diverse ethnic cuisines, international and regional. Nowadays, a lot of hotels and restaurants coming with Japanese, Koreans, different types of foods are coming into the trends are there. Now, when we divide the industry, there are four major segments, we said. If you saw the slide also on food system, agriculture production system, manufacturing, distribution, and marketing. And we can also divide the segment into product lines like cereals, bakery, meat, fish is one. Then dairy products, fruit and vegetables, sugar and sweets, fat and oils. And similarly, we have allied industries, packaging, e-commerce, that is online, digital platform. Nowadays, we are ordering our foods through online apps using, and digital platforms are also there. Direct to consumers are also being there. In packaging also, sustainability and innovative packagings are coming into the trends are there. Now, this sector, food processing sector, is a priority area, and we call it as a sunrise sector is there because it has a good potential to grow. It reduces the food wastage. Like whatever we produce the food, it reduces the wastage, and it also facilitates the doubling the farmers' income, which is our priority area. The growth rate is very high, and it is a quite profitable sector is there. The government has a good positive and conducive policies are there. Besides this, there is good employment potential and huge potential for innovations and startup is there. That's why the government of India is giving a lot of priority on the food processing sector is there. Now, what is the growth factors? Particularly young generation, and there is availability of disposable income among the youth is there. Rising urbanization and evolving lifestyle. So you can see the people getting the food from the hotels or restaurants are going out is there. Higher expenditure on the food products are there. Similarly, the demand for the functional food is also increasing is there. And because people are aware that the food can help us in maintaining good health. So this also plays an important role. And people are aware about the food safety, quality standards, monitoring, and particularly food influencers also making it like which food is, how to read the label, how to see the expiry date. These are the factors which are people are aware. Then the new manufacturing technologies and automation is also taking place in industry. So these are the growth factors which are there. But there are certain concerns also. The producer, the quality is not up to the mark. We have a lot of unorganized sector in the food processing sector. Food wastage is there, low shelf life is also there. But also one of the concern is cold chain and post-harvest management is the infrastructure is very limited, developed. The processing level is only 10% of our agriculture output as compared to other countries which are having around 70 to 80% is there. The human resource gap is also exists. People are not trained, particularly on the food processing and at the lower level or the technician level. So these are the concerns are there. Now policy key areas are Ministry of Food Processing Industry is the key industry which ministry which coordinates the activity. So they have identified key areas. First is their theme is enhancing the farmers' income by utilization and value addition, minimize waste at all stages in the food processing, introduce the modern technology, encourage research and development for new type of products like use of millets was there. Then they also promote export of processed food products. The two schemes which Government of India is running, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Formulation of Micro Food Processing Enterprise, PMFME, and similarly Productive Linked Incentive Scheme. So these are the schemes which are very good for the industry level. So now to conclude that what we have read in this session in the basic of the food basics. So first thing is we read that food is essential for sustenance, growth and tissue repair and overall health with paradox of malnutrition and obesity. That if you take less, malnutrition could take place. If you take more, obesity can take. So we have to take the balanced food and there the role of the food people, the safety people all come to the picture. Important constituents are water, carbohydrate, protein, lipids, vitamins and minerals, and phytochemicals also with the fruits and vegetables. And its functions are physiological, psychological and social. Trend is towards convenience, health, wellness and functional food is there. Important schemes are Prime Minister Kisan Sampada Yojana and Pradhan Mantri Formulation of Micro Food Processing, PMFMI. So with this, I have given you an overview of the food, its importance as a nutrition and what is the status of the industry and what are the growth areas. Thank you very much. Thank you.